You're listening to The Hustle Path.
Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the Hustle Path, the podcast where we get into finance, startups, and entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Pritam Sai, and today I am here with a very special guest, the one and only Joshua Kim. Joshua will be joining us as the co-host of the Hustle Path, and he will be joining most of the episodes, and he'll just bring on new insights and stuff. So, Joshua, introduce yourself, man.
Oh, what's up, everybody? I'm Joshua, and I'm a rising junior at Hebron High School. Some things about me. Well, I'm really involved in the business world. I plan on majoring in college. I'm a DECA competitor, a state qualifier. I've interned at companies like Spark Prince, which is a clothing company, a business brokerage company that's M&A advisored by multiple CBIs. And I'm also now part of the growth team at Cupid. And outside of just the business world, I'm a symphony musician for one of the top tier symphonies in DFW. I'm part of my varsity orchestra, and I hold leadership positions in my church youth group and in local nonprofits. I'm very
Man,
excited to hop on.
Man, guys, he's no newbie. He has some pro experience. He'll be bringing in new voices, new energy, and just the mindset, man. All right, let's get into the video with Cameron. For people who don't know you, what do you do and who are you?
Um, I think lots of people know me as just the crypto kid. I did crypto for like the bulk of my younger years, and now I'm kind of exploring new ventures and new businesses to explore crypto and the actual legitimate applications of it further.
Hmm. All right, so I like to separate this podcast into three different stories. The origin story, so like what started you there, where you came from, and then the building and execution, and then like the mindset and growth, like what's forward and like what you're doing with it. All right, man, let's rewind, man. What were you like growing up? Were you always like hustling or did the entrepreneur bug hit you later on?
Yes, so I think when I was 14 or 15 years old, I got really lucky and the right friend introduced me to sneaker reselling. I think that's like a traditional pipeline for a lot of people. Like you go in the
Mm,
sneaker reselling and it kind of
yeah,
jumpstarts you into these other areas.
yeah.
But um, to be honest, I was terrible at it. I think I spent maybe a year at sneaker reselling and I only ever copped one sneaker. So I
Mhm.
was really bad at it, but I stuck with it for a long time. And I think the biggest thing for me was just meeting the right people and networking. I love Twitter. I think that's kind of
Yeah.
what got me to where I am today. I just tweeted a lot, and the right opportunities came through. I quickly realized sneaker reselling was not my thing. I left sneaker reselling, went on to do sports cards,
Mm,
and that was really fun because, basketball cards, soccer
yeah.
cards, baseball cards, it's all fun stuff, but it's kind of a little bit of a gambling addiction in a sense with all the like
Yeah.
the packs and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So definitely a messy industry, but I did sports cards for a year or two, lost a ton of money. I was young and I had a little bit of money. I maybe had like a few $100, but I lost it all and maybe had 100 or $200 left to my name. And I very luckily just had the right friend introduce me to NFTs, and I got blessed. I got really, really lucky. I bought the right stuff,
Mm,
and within a year, I just traded because I was stupid and I made $10 million.
nice, nice,
And
nice.
I lost it all.
Oh,
And I guess it taught me a lesson. It was like, damn, like there's more to life than money.
yeah.
And you have to really, really align your passion and work with exactly what you care about and what you want to do.
Mm,
And I'm kind of back to square zero or square one, just with all the experience and time to leverage it.
mm.
All right, Cameron. Before Syndicate and Head Dio, you launched Nifty Nation, right?
Yes, yes.
So when you launched Nifty Nation, what was like your thinking behind it, and what got you into that?
Yes. So Nifty Nation was
Mm.
kind of, I think everyone kind of knows, like back in the day at least, I don't know how popular it is anymore. People would always run like paid Discord groups or just like
Oh,
info
yeah.
services,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
essentially what Nifty Nation was. It
Mm.
was a kind of like a paid service for like just NFT info before it got popular. I
Mm.
started it in maybe, I don't know, I think that was 2021 around February, March, and there was no competitors in that market yet. There was no
Mm.
one really into NFTs or selling NFT info. And I had no clue what I was doing, to be honest. Like I probably had less than 2 or 3 weeks worth of experience in the actual NFT field. But I said, like, you always have to find the solutions to the problems, right? The problem obviously was no one had an NFT community. If you wanted to get into it, there's nowhere to go. So I said, why not make it myself? And just created this free community. Sooner people joined, obviously, because it's free info. Who doesn't love free info?
Yeah.
And again, I was very inexperienced. I didn't know what I was doing, but we eventually converted to the paid model for like the 20 or
Mm.
$30 a month. And that was, I think, my first like legitimate experience with building my own thing.
Mm.
Mm.
Then came the head DAO. That was huge. Was there like a single moment that made you say like, yeah, this is still it. I'm going all in. Or
Yep. So head was kind of interesting.
Mm.
I think when you see the numbers, you might think like this was like some super orchestrated thing and it was like really, really well planned out. But I was just sitting on Twitter on like a random Tuesday or Thursday. I was like, you know what? Like, I kind of want to make a project. So I put out a tweet. I was like, yo, like, I want to make a project. Who's down? And mistake I made was the very first two people that DM me on Twitter
yeah.
were the ones I decided to work with.
Oh.
And in less than 4 or 5 days, we had the whole project ready and to be launched. And I still had no clue about who I was working with or who these random people were.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
and I guess when you're young, you're kind of just like irrational or just like you want to do things in a sense. When you're older, obviously things you kind of
Yeah,
really
you get
think
more
things through.
mature and stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
For sure.
And so we launched, and I did not expect to sell the $2.5 million worth of NFTs in an hour. Like I was like, what the hell? I'm 15
Mhm.
years old, and this is kind of just crazy to me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um, and it was all spontaneous, but um, like that's like it was very legit at that point. Like people were taking me seriously, and you kind of had to like recover the fumble in a sense.
Yeah.
And this might be crazy to say, but it kind of reminds me of what
Mhm.
Cluely kind of ended up doing, right?
Yeah.
It started off
Mm.
as this kind of side project or
Yeah.
illegitimate thing, and they just
Yeah.
kind of had to recover
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
So when you made the 2.5 million when you were 15, like did you know that you had like that big of an audience, like that big of like a market that people would buy that much worth of NFTs or
Definitely not. I think
Mhm.
obviously I took things for granted. Because I was just young and naive, and I was
Yeah.
just doing what I liked for fun. And I didn't realize how many people were actually paying attention to me because I guess with social media in general, like let's say you put something on Twitter and you get 5,000 views. If
Mm.
you only get like 5 or 10
Mhm.
likes, it's like, okay, like 10 people are looking at my stuff. That's cool, right?
Yeah.
But I think a large part of social media is people just lurk, bro. Like they just look at
Yeah.
your stuff and they do pay attention and like what you're doing, but they don't engage.
Yeah.
So it was definitely surprising to me. I'd never expected it to move that fast at all, and I was really, really taken aback. So like I just had to quickly take all these actions to make everything right.
All right, now fast forward to Syndicate. It's not another hype project. What makes Syndicate different from all the other types of projects you had?
Yep. So again, my lore is I lost tons of money and I need to figure out what my passion is. And when people think of crypto or just like meme coins in general, right?
Mm.
There's a very bad uh connotation with it. Like
Like
everybody
rug
thinks it's
pulling?
exactly like
Yeah.
you think of crypto and you think of
Mhm.
rug pulling.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I think there are legitimate applications to crypto, but the reality is when there's so much money on the line, you're gonna have so many bad actors coming into the space. They just want their money and they want out, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever really seen in the past 4 or 5 years more than a handful of truly legitimate crypto
Mhm.
projects. And obviously, I can say this like, oh, I'm doing it legit because everybody says that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But essentially, what Syndicate
Mhm.
is we're doing something huge. Like no one's ever done this before. Um, we're kind of shaking up the financial landscape in a sense. So when people think of meme coins, the nicest thing about meme
Mhm.
coins is you kind of have this natural virality effect or this
Mm.
kind of natural marketing that occurs with it. Like you
Yeah.
have tons of people that buy in, And it's not like you have to go and pay for marketing if you're managing the meme coin, obviously. You
Yeah.
have all these people holding your coin and they do the work for you. And that's such a powerful tool. And I think for years and years, people overlook this without figuring out a way to actually leverage that.
Mm.
So my question was, what happens when an actual legitimate company comes in, like someone that's creating something great, creates a meme coin that says like, yes, we are associated with this meme coin. Obviously, the market's going to care for that. They're going to buy it.
Yeah.
And then you, as a company, you have this natural effect of virality, and it's a perfect way to raise funds.
Mm.
But crypto is notorious for pump and dumps, right? So
Yeah.
how do you actually use meme coins as a way to bootstrap early stage startups, create longevity, and not create the pump and dump? So that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. So what naturally just came up with the idea and the name behind it? Like, and how'd you get the people? Was it
Yep,
through
yep, yep.
networking? Was it through LinkedIn, Twitter, Reddit?
Twitter's always been huge for me. I think everyone I know up until this point has definitely been through Twitter. Um, Syndicate started off as nothing what it was today. I started it off 6 months ago, and it was literally just a Telegram group or a Discord group.
Mm.
I just found people that I thought were cool.
Yeah.
And networks everything, obviously. I
Yeah.
think you guys definitely know that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just brought in all these cool people, and I said, like, let's just chill together, like, talk and see what value we can bring to each other. And that's cool and all, but you can only get people to actively be involved in a community for so long. I think creating the actual longevity of any given community is very hard. And that was in January. I think 2, 3 months ago, we kind of conceptualized the actual accelerator aspect of it, which is what I just explained. And only recently, in the past month, have we decided to not have like a group and an accelerator, but create a huge community that acts as a funnel into the accelerator and create this front-facing brand, ultimately called Syndicate.
That's nice. That's
Um,
nice.
so across Dio and Syndicate, obviously you've managed a lot of money before, right? A ton of money. So across that, what I want to ask is how like you managed all that money and how did it feel like managing all that money? And also after Dio, what moved you to like go on and be like, oh wait, I'm gonna do Syndicate because you were already so successful at Dio. So what was your motivation for going into Syndicate? Did you just want more or did you just have another goal in mind?
Yep, yep, yep. So I think in crypto at least, because that's the only field I've ever known, I
Mhm.
think it's probably the same in just the general startup world. When you kind of create anything and it doesn't like massively explode, like it's not the next Uber or Airbnb, you kind of feel let down in a sense. Like everybody wants to
Mm,
achieve greatness, and if you only achieve the greatness to an extent, it's a little bit demotivating. So I would consider Head like a little bit successful. We definitely pulled in great numbers, but the lifespan of the project was only 2-ish years. So that was
Mm.
from, I think, 2023 or late 2022 to early 2024. So it was great and all, but I felt this sense of like guiltiness after we kind of like winded down the project because uh
mhm.
like months and months passed and I just wasn't sure what to do next. Like I kind of made a ton of money, learned a lot of stuff, lost a lot of money, and I was just left with these experiences.
Mm.
And generally, I don't really see people
Mhm.
just go from one project or venture immediately right into the next. There's always this kind of intermission where people try to actually plan out their next move. It's not like you know, down like
Yeah.
just wind down a project and just go on to the next one, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because it just shows maliciousness, I guess. But
Mm.
I literally sat for a year, maybe a year and a half, just thinking, like, what am I going to do with my life? And
Mm.
maybe this is an optimistic approach, but I think everything always works itself out. Like
Mm.
even if you feel lost for years and you really aren't sure your direction or what you're doing, if you just put a super small amount of effort into something you care about, some opportunity will always come knocking at your door.
Yeah. I agree with that because at first, like with Evan, like I was reaching out to a bunch of people. It was like no's after no's after no's. But I was kind of surprised when Evan replied yes. I was like, all right, it's one yes is all you need to move on. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's huge.
Yeah.
And that's like great momentum for
Yeah.
everything you're doing now.
Yeah. All right, you're also managing a portfolio over 1 million at AUM at Skyhold Rocking. How do you balance being an investor and a founder?
Honestly,
Mhm.
the holdings company that I run with a friend, um, it's honestly a great side quest because we kind of
Mhm.
I manage my own money, he manages his own money, and like I'll do the crypto stuff, he'll do whatever, like the traditional finance stuff. But um we don't really direct as much attention as it as you'd think. I think one thing, I mean,
Mhm.
in the crypto space at least, I've learned that if you go hunting, like really go hunting and seeking for opportunities, you kind of actually make the game harder on yourself.
Mm,
Sometimes the really, really good opportunities are just the obvious ones that come along. And
mm.
I think trading wise, uh, I maybe Twitter's great because obviously I can
Yeah.
do what I want on Twitter.
Mhm.
And when the actual info and alpha I need comes along, then I can leverage that. But it's really not as much work as you think,
Mm,
because we're making probably decent returns and it's more so passive. Like it's kind of rather than them being separate ventures like Syndicate and the holdings
yeah.
company, they kind of go together. Like all my work is kind of in one place and everything feeds off of it.
Mm, mm.
Mhm. So, what like tools wise, like what kind of tools did you use to keep all this moving? Like what systems, what apps, what applications, and what does keep you moving? Like not just on the business side, like maybe like it's family or friends or wanting to make a name for yourself. What keeps you moving?
Got it, got it. Yeah. Tools wise, people would be surprised to hear this, but I use my brain and very occasionally Google Keep. I don't write down any info, which is terrible practice. I'm not going to recommend that
Mhm.
to anyone.
Yeah.
Um, Only recently have I
Mhm.
started using like Notion to actually log stuff like every few
Mm,
days for what's important. But for the longest time, I just kept stuff in my head, and it honestly made me really
Mhm.
stressed out. But having that stress kind of motivated me in a sense to um, actually do more things.
mm.
But what was your other question? Sorry.
Oh, what keeps you moving? Like, is it
Like
What
in
keeps me
something
life,
or
moving?
like
wanting to make a
Hmm.
name for
I see,
yourself or
yeah, I see a Christ symbol in your back. Do you think God plays a key part?
Yeah. For me, I have a kind of interesting approach with it all. I think a lot of people they'll navigate their life and want to do great and good things out of this
Mhm.
sort of not necessarily God-fearing approach, but because like I guess God thinks would tell you it's the right thing to do. Like you should just do good things. But I think ultimately the only way to actually keep going and like want to do great things with your life is there has to be like a fire inside of you. Like
Mm,
if everything around you didn't exist, if you were the only thing that ever existed, do you truly care? Like really, really, truly care for the betterment of the world? And to me, that's what keeps me going. I think that paired obviously with companionship. Like I think having the right friends, make sure you have the right friends, obviously,
yeah.
but
Mhm.
um, family as well is also great. But I don't think it's really possible to do anything alone. I think even if your companions, whoever they may be, aren't directly helping you, um, I just think being in the presence of people is this kind of primitive thing that creates an environment for you to actually
Mm.
motivate you to keep going.
Yeah, a lot of people say mentorship plays a key role. Do you think it plays a key role in being successful, or do you think you could just be successful on your own by reading, exploring, and stuff like this?
I do think mentorship is probably the most important thing ever. Personally, I've never had a mentor, and it's the one of the few things I've always regretted. I think I could have done greater things if I had someone guiding me and telling me what's right and what's wrong. But if you're navigating your life with like even just young and not really knowing what you're doing,
Mhm.
you might succeed to some extent, but you're ultimately going to end up in failure if there's no one to
Mm.
actually support you and stop
Mhm.
you. So, dude,
Yeah.
if I was young right now, get a mentor, bro.
To relate to that, you said a mentor is really important, but how important do you think a community is? Like the people you hang out with, the people you interact with, how important do you think it is to like surround yourself with motivated people who really want to like just do the best for themselves and have the best for you.
Yeah. I think community is everything, bro. Like, I think I just went to SF like a little bit ago, a few weeks back. I think that was a really great insight into how important community actually is because
Mm.
I'm at UCD, and it's a cool college and all, but there's nothing
But
crazy going on
community,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Non-existent, bro.
ugh.
And when I got off the plane from SF, I landed in the airport. Like you can immediately feel the energy. You can kind of feel that sense of unity amongst the people there.
Yeah.
And it's like an environment and a community thing. And I just think it's everything, bro. That's what can really, really motivate you to ultimately keep grinding.
Mm.
Mhm.
With all these wins, what's one failure that taught you that uh any win ever did? Because yeah, this one
Sorry,
failure.
say that again. Sorry.
What with all these wins, what is one failure that taught you that taught the moment that ended you like teaching you more than success, teaching you more?
I think losing all my money was the thing, to be honest.
Mm,
I kind of I kind of sat for a long time, like literally years, and I was like, bro, like I'm a terrible person. Like I lost all this money. I had an opportunity everyone would kill for,
mm,
but uh, I guess there's a lot of lessons you can teach people and you can't. And I think one of those lessons that you ultimately can't teach people, no matter how many times you say it, is please, please, please don't grind for the money. Grind for yourself because you truly care to grind. Because I ideology I took from everything that I've been through is the dream of anything. Like the idea of anything is always greater than the reality of it. Like your
mm,
idea of I want to make $10 million, that's always going to give you greater fulfillment than when you actually achieve the $10 million or like you get the
mm,
nice car or whatever it is. So to keep the dream alive, you kind of have to always stay in this persistent grind set mindset.
mm. Yeah, speaking of that, I'm brown myself. I'm assuming you're brown, right? You have
Yeah.
brown parents. What do you think? Did their opinions influence anything on you, or do you think that didn't really play a key part?
Yeah, so I'm actually in an interesting spot because my dad's Indian and my mom's white, right?
Mm,
So I
yeah,
kind of have these two conflicting opinions and cultures
yeah,
because my dad, obviously, brown parents are going to be
yeah,
like, be a doctor, go to college, or
yeah,
whatever it is you want to
yeah.
be.
Mhm.
And on the opposite end, my mom was kind of more like carefree. She kind of believed in actually trying to pursue your passions and do what you want, like even if it meant not going to college. And I mean, thankfully I did. I almost didn't just because
Mm,
I got cocky, but
mm,
um it was definitely quite the dilemma. And it's like I had to choose kind of side with the parent in
yeah,
a sense. So like who's right and who should I stick with? And I chose the hybrid approach. I ended up going to
mm,
school like my dad wanted me to and trying to um fulfill his wishes. I think it's obviously really important to an extent, like your parents birthed you, they helped you through your whole life. I think it would just be entirely disappointing to do nothing that they would wish for or ask for from you.
yeah.
So I kind of took this hybrid approach and did something my mom wanted me to do and my dad wanted me to do.
Mm.
And Cameron, you're still a student, right, at UTD?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a junior next year.
Oh,
Mm.
nice. We're gonna be
So,
juniors in high school.
Crazy, bro. I respect it. I wish I was doing something like this, like that young. Like,
uh,
dude, the networking is huge, bro. Like, I
mhm,
really, really
Yeah,
respect it.
yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
So, how do you like discipline yourself to like juggle like college level classes, but also work on Syndicate and like do all this networking and do managing all this money? Like, how do you discipline yourself, like even at this young of an age, to just manage all of that?
So I definitely have terrible discipline, to be honest. And I think I don't know if I'd really recommend this traditionally, but my mindset personally has always been whatever you truly care about, like really deeply care about, do it 100%. So obviously I have to choose between college and like, the entrepreneurship route. I can't do both like 100% at the same time. Like I kind of have to mix the efforts or just do one thing 100%. And despite being in college, I think I probably went to last year, I probably went to like 10 classes max. I barely passed any of my classes. Like I'm just getting by. Um,
Mm,
I'm in college just because like my dad wants me to go through college and the community and network's obviously very important. I would gladly pay any amount of money to be with like-minded people in a sense, but nearly 100% of my efforts are directed towards building my own thing because I mean, the world's changing, bro. Maybe 10 years
Mhm.
ago, college was the path to take, but
Yeah, but
uh,
now it's there's different pathways. So
there's so many
I 100
paths.
I agree with that.
Yep,
So
yep, yep.
yeah, after a lot of thing after your first big project, did your like mindset shift or anything, or did it stay the same? Like, cause a lot of people get cocky nowadays. Like, hey, I made this much. I'm like, F school, F this, F that. I'm gonna drop out. I'm gonna do this. But you I'm not trying to compare you to Evan, but like Evan said the same thing. He said that McCombs was a piece of shit. He dropped it. He went into the communication school and he said he went full online mode and just
Oh, really?
yeah, he went full
Okay.
online because he's going to like different places to host these shows. So I honestly
Yeah,
respect both of y'all's grinds and like that because
yeah.
my parents are like hella traditional. When I'm saying like hella, I mean hella. Like if I get below like a 90 on anything, they'll like yell at me because say like I'm become a failure and stuff. But I'm trying to change that. So yeah, yeah.
How much effort does the podcast and everything else you're doing take you? Like, does it take away from your school stuff?
Honestly, it's summer right now, so no. But
Okay.
with like the other
Mhm.
stuff I do, it's not that much. I usually I wanted to do it one every week, but realized like a lot of people were saying no, so I was like maybe let's go bi-weekly, and then I did a couple, and then Joshua wanted to join, so
Mhm.
I was like I knew him for a while. He has some business knowledge, so let's just run this thing,
Awesome.
bro. So
Do
yeah.
you guys have plans to, I guess, take a route of like 100% college or 100% entrepreneurship or like do
Um,
a mix of both or
I think right now, I'm aiming for college, not necessarily just because like I want to follow the traditional path because um I was at an in-person internship at like a business brokerage company and I realized I low key I would hate working corporate. Like I cannot sit in an office and just do a task for eight
Same.
hours. But the reason why I'm like grinding for college, doing these extracurriculars and working hard for my grades isn't necessarily just to get the grade or put it on my resume. It's because I want to learn how to like work hard and build my like network up. And because right now my goal is going to college because that's just like I'm trying to teach myself how to work toward a goal and how to achieve a goal. Because I don't think necessarily what you learn in school is like that important, right? Like AP US history, AP world. I think what's why I'm trying is just because I know it's teaching me hard work and discipline, and that's like skills that I can't just learn by myself.
Yeah. Honestly, I would say the same thing too, but like also like there's another side of me like if I ever like created a startup and succeeded, I wouldn't go to college, but the thing is my parents came down here just for me. They immigrated and they tell me all these like stories and like you also have to respect that side of it. So, I guess I will finish college just for them so they can like brag
Mhm.
to their cousins or whatever, you know.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I respect it. I think
Mhm.
the work ethic aspect of it all is definitely huge. I think I definitely lack that to be honest, because I didn't lock in college or high school. I kind of don't nearly put in as much effort as I should be. But I feel like if you lock in during high school and show yourself that you actually can do things, it's definitely a transferable thing and it does wonders for you later.
Mhm.
Mm. A lot of young founders like chase hype and exit quick. What separates you from them?
I don't want to exit, and I want to work on this for my entire life, which is crazy because is that really feasible? Probably not. But I think you can always keep pivoting.
Yeah.
I think there's always pivots to be made into the right sectors. I do think hype's huge, though. I think again, I hate to reference Cooley,
Mhm.
but it was
Yeah.
a great example that even if you just have a kind of product or shitty product, and everything they've released so far has frankly been pretty terrible, but they have
Yeah.
so much attention around them because of the hype.
Yeah. So
Um,
I'm gonna tell you this. Do you think they're a marketing company? Like being completely honest, like no BS. Like, cause you visited their office, you got to see their space, you got to see what they do.
Mhm.
yeah, I really do think they are. I think I visited them right before they did the most recent announcement where they released like the 9 demos of everything
Yeah.
Cooley can do. I think you guys probably saw that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and like like people were commenting like, "Oh, this is great, whatever." But it really was a letdown for everything they hyped it for. It was a huge letdown. It was just like a
Yeah.
real-time meeting recorder, which probably took like 2 weeks tops to build.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, what I saw personally, uh, I think there's last time I checked a month ago at least, they're still trying to recruit a founding engineer, which is a
Yeah.
terrible red flag. Um,
Uh,
they probably had
Mhm.
like some lead engineer and a few interns, but most of it was just goofing around. But I like it's odd. Like I really would like them to succeed because I like the team. I love
yeah.
Roy and Neil, but
Mm,
realistically speaking, it's such a huge gamble. They're either about to pioneer the way people do startups, or
yeah.
they're just gonna f crash and burn, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. In your opinion, like, do you do you think like the way Cluely's like marketing their company and like you know how they like you know how like on like internet like you can just see like Roy like kind of like like he doesn't like care he doesn't give
Yeah.
like
He
he
doesn't like
doesn't
give
yeah
two
he
He
doesn't
shits.
doesn't
Yeah.
care.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah, like do you think like that's low key like a good approach or like what's your opinion on that?
I've always been one to think that any content is good content and any attention is good attention. I think he of anyone knows that the best. Like if you're putting out like one piece of content every 2, 3 weeks and building an amazing product, it doesn't matter. I think people are fooling themselves to say that like hype is unsubstantial and really doesn't matter, and all you should do is build a good product.
Hmm.
But 99% of it is hype. Like realistically speaking, because if you can get the hype and you get the attention, the right opportunities always come.
Hmm. So for people like us, 15, 16, wanting to do what you do, how would we maneuver and start it at a young age like you did?
Mhm.
Yes. So I think a lot of people trying to get into like just the startup scene in general, they think they have to be like cracked, right? Like they
Hmm.
think that you have to be like a good engineer or something.
Yeah.
I've never coded in my life. All I
Hmm.
do is talk to people and set things up,
Mhm.
and I've had a good chunk of successful ventures. I think people are always scared of perfection. And the same advice that a lot of founders would give you, especially Roy, is just put something out. Like it doesn't matter how shitty your idea is, or if you are a bot and don't know what you're doing, putting out anything is always the best option and it will always lead you somewhere.
All right.
Mhm.
All right, man. Future in closing. What's next? What's the full focus? Are there any other plays? Any other new companies? Any other new startups?
Syndicate for life, I'll be locked in and
Mhm.
hey, honestly, in a year or two or whenever I make it, I'm gonna funnel you guys the greatest talent ever, and you guys are gonna get some crazy interviews, and the world will be great.
All right, man. All right,
Mhm.
man.
Okay, Cameron, one more question. Let's say tomorrow you wake up, you lose every single connection, your parents disown you, and you just like you have nothing to work with. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing to get but you have all your
Oh,
knowledge. What are you doing?
if I have all my knowledge and no connections, dude, that's hard, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think I think the only thing to do realistically is put yourself in the only spot where you can rebuild those connections because the connections are everything, like I've said. I would probably
Hmm.
go to SF or New York, as much as I hate them, and just find some conferences to go to and
Mm-hmm.
meet the right 5 or 10 people over the course of a few weeks and just rebuild the network and hopefully the
Mm-hmm.
opportunities come through.
All right, man.
So do you
Before we,
think
oh, Joshua,
okay,
go.
so do you think in this business world, like in this current age, do you think let's say like person A has like 100% knowledge, but person B has like 30% knowledge. But person A has like a very small, like horrible network, but person B has like a really good network. Do you think that good network will like up can uplift that person above the other person, even though they have like less knowledge?
Yep,
So
yep, yep. I think me personally, I've seen a lot of, to be honest, stupid founders. Like there's people that really intellectually or knowledge-wise don't have what it takes to build an amazing company, but they dedicated so much time and effort towards building these connections that it doesn't even matter. I would literally take a guy with 1% knowledge and infinite connections over a guy with 100% knowledge and no
Hmm.
connections.
mm,
All right, man. Before we head out, what's one quote by you? I always ask everyone this that comes onto the show.
mhm.
Unquote. Always chase your dreams, never actually catch them.
All right, man. There you heard it.
Mhm.
Cameron, I appreciate you for coming on, man. This was packed with lessons. Where can people find you and follow you at?
You can find me on Twitter at camcart_. or you can find me on Instagram at cameron.karthik.
Make sure y'all follow him though.
Yeah, make sure. All right, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you
Till
guys for
next
having
on the
me.
Hustle Path.
Thank you.
Alright, Brody, stop listening now. Go touch some grass.